What's up, guys? Radio Geek here. One of the first games I bought when I first bought my Xbox 360 way back in the day was The Darkness. I knew it was based on a comic book at the time, but at the time I'd never really read it. The game looked cool anyway, though, so I picked it up. Let's talk about it. The Darkness came out in 2007 for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, developed by Starbreeze Studios. Same guys who did the Chronicles of Riddick games, which I've never played, but I've heard good things. And published by 2K. It's based on a comic book published by Top Cow, created by Garth Ennis, Mark Silvestri, and David Wall. I'm playing the Xbox 360 version for this video because I've never owned a PlayStation. The game centers around Jackie Estacado, a mafia hitman in New York City. It's your 21st birthday, and you're sent by the Don, Uncle Paulie, to pick up some protection money. But things go wrong, and you get ambushed, and the game starts with you in the back of a getaway car. After everything goes wrong, these two guys with you figured it'd be a good idea to go whack the foreman of a construction site, so you don't have to go back to Paulie empty-handed. But it seems like they knew you were coming too, cause they're all over the place along with the police. You get a shotgun here, and you get a chance to take out some of the guys while in the car, but it's not easy to do. After some time, the car crashes, this guy complains about his ruined pants, gives you a pair of pistols as a birthday present which you'll use for about 5 minutes and then never see again, and sends you on your merry way. Left trigger fires your left gun, right trigger fires your right gun, and you can perform an execution by firing when you're real close to an enemy.
I got moved!
As you're fighting through guys at the construction site, you can stop to watch a live news report about what's happening, pick up some collectible phone numbers, more on those later, and watch a recording by Uncle Paulie.
Hey, it's your Uncle Paulie. You know you've been a pain in my ass since the day I met you, Jackie. Pissing and moaning about the way I do business. Well, you need to learn who's calling the shots in this family. I've been very, very generous to you, Jackie. In fact, I got a surprise for you. On your birthday. It's in the closet. Have a blast.
Uncle Paulie wants you dead because apparently you two never saw eye to eye and Paulie's a dick. A bomb goes off, but you narrowly escape and head to the Trinity Cemetery. There's a bathroom off to the side you're supposed to beeline to, and in fact, if you don't, you'll just die. Every time. So head to the bathroom, talk to this guy, head back out, and this is the first time the titular Darkness shows itself. A cutscene plays where the Darkness, voiced by Mike Patton, yeah, that Mike Patton, emerges and rips all these mafia goons to shreds, doing all kinds of stuff you're not going to be able to do for a while yet.
Through you, I am born.
For now, all you have is this tentacle power, where you can send out this tentacle thing to attack enemies, open up pathways, or pick up items. You can also summon your first Darkling. Darklings are these funny little imp-like creatures that have different capabilities. The Berserker, which is the first one you get, jumps on people and stabs them to death. Summon it, and it'll move this car, which allows you to get out of the cemetery, use the tentacle to stealth kill this guy to pick up the key, and head into the subway. The subway is your hub area throughout the game. There are 2 stations, Canal Street Station and Fulton Street Station, and each of these has a number of different areas connected to it that you can go to. There are also people down here who will give you little side missions, most of which are really short and easy, in exchange for a collectible phone number. You can use the payphones down in the subway stations to call these numbers, which plays an answering machine message.
darkness, light dawns for the upright, for the gracious and compassionate and righteous man. Psalms 112, verse 4. Hello, my child. You have reached the Trinity Church's answering machine. There's no one in this house of the Lord who can answer your call right now, but have faith. If you leave a message after the beep, someone will get back to you shortly. And please consider a donation.
The messages are entirely meaningless, sometimes they're funny, but what they really do is unlock bonus content. Things like concept art and behind-the-scenes videos, but they can also unlock full comics from the Darkness universe for you to read. And as somebody who had never read the comics at that point in time, I think that's really neat. Anyway, you get paged by your longtime girlfriend Jenny, who got a new apartment and wants you to come over. Give Jenny a call from the payphone for directions, watch another news report about the construction site incident, then talk to this guy who tells you that Paulie has put a hit out on you. Surprise, surprise. Jenny lives in Chinatown, so head that way. Out here, you get accosted by a bunch of mafia guys, so take them out. Eat their hearts, too. Eating the hearts of bad guys is how you increase your darkness level, which is how you can get more powers. You don't need a lot of hearts to get a darkness level, and if you eat every heart you can, you'll reach max level before too long, at which point you don't have to eat hearts anymore, but I still do because I like some of the animations. Your darkness powers only work in, well, the darkness, who'd have thunk it, so shoot out streetlights as needed. The Xbox 360 controller, though, doesn't make this easy. Aiming isn't exactly smooth, but there is an auto-aim that kicks in when you're aiming close enough to a target. It's nice, but it can also kind of suck. It's finicky. Outside of the subway stations, you'll get maps of the area you're in. This is really the only thing you can use to find your way around. It's not great, but you get used to it. And the areas are small enough that eventually you'll learn your way around. But game developers in the mid to late 2000s were absolutely obsessed with Bloom for some reason, and it shows here. Some of these maps can be completely unreadable because someone decided to turn the bloom all the way up to 11. Find a map you can read, use it to find your way to Jenny's apartment, and she'll tell you that your friend Butcher Joyce left a message for you. Sit with Jenny on the couch for a while, during which time you can watch TV. There are TVs you can find in various places around the game, and on them you can watch full-length movies, TV shows, and cartoons that are in the public domain. They even have Flash Gordon on here. There's music videos too. It adds nothing to the gameplay, but it's great for immersion. I love this, and I can't think of any other game that's done it. It's very cool. Maybe the later Grand Theft Auto games with their in-game TV, but those are all made up. These are actually real-world shows and movies. After watching TV for as long as you can stand it, get up and rag Jenny's phone bill up by calling any collectible phone numbers you found, and also Butcher, who tells you that he has some information for you, and to meet him at the Olive Grove restaurant nearby. Butcher Joyce is a cleanup guy who gets rid of dead bodies, and there was a shootout at the restaurant not long ago. He's here cleaning up. He tells you that if you want to hurt Paulie's operation, you should find and whack a guy named Dutch Elvin Harry. He's a local drug dealer that works for Paulie. After the conversation, police under the command of Eddie Schroet, a lackey of Paulie's, assault the restaurant looking for you. Pick up the shotgun and take them all out, and run from the attack chopper. There's only really one way you can go here, and if you go the wrong way, you'll just die and have to restart at the checkpoint. I'm not a big fan of this approach. If you have an open map and want me to go somewhere, it should be up to me how to get there. There are a couple of times throughout the game this happens, and I hate it every time, but the rest of the game, you can go wherever you want, so it's not a huge deal. Head through the Whitefish Pool Hall. Hey, the mirrors work. Talk to Maddie forehand to get the password to Dutch Oven Harry's, then knock on the door. Say the password, talk to Roach, then shoot him while he's on the phone. Fight your way out, then up the fire escape to Dutch Oven Harry's apartment. Chase him to the roof, kill him, and a building blows up in the distance. That's St. Mary's Orphanage, where you and Jenny grew up together, and Paulie just bombed it. Jump down to the train tracks where you'll get your second Darkling, the Gunner. The Gunner has a minigun and has absolutely no idea how to use it. A lot of times it'll just fire into a wall or some other form of cover, missing its target entirely. Here, though, it shoots an oncoming train, which would have ran you over otherwise. Back in the subway station, both Paulie and Jenny page you, so find a payphone and call both. Paulie just wants to be a dick, but Jenny tells you to meet her at the St. Mary's Orphanage subway exit. This is where you meet Jimmy the Grape. I kind of want to know why they call him that. Jimmy explains that a bunch of older mob guys also hate Paulie and want him gone, and he tells you to go to Grinder's Lane and burn the money Paulie has for the Chicago families so they'll turn against him too. Over at Grinder's Lane, kill the guards out front of the warehouse, shoot this panel to open the gate, head into this building here to pick up some gasoline, then fight your way through the warehouse to where the money is. The door to the room with the money is locked, but you can just unlock it with your darkness tentacle. Throw the gasoline on the big pile of money, then shoot it to watch it burn. Head back to where you met Jenny and Jimmy, and you'll find the gate to the orphanage area open. Make your way through the orphanage, watching flashbacks of young Jackie and Jenny, and eventually you'll come to a room where Jenny is being held by Uncle Paulie and Eddie Schroet. All you can do is stand there and watch helplessly as Paulie does a murder on Jenny, and then Jackie picks up a gun and self-terminates. I refuse to say unalive. You wake up, for lack of a better term, in what's basically hell, but it's all decked out in World War I themes. There's a reason for that, as you'll soon come to find out. Use your new demon arm power to move some shit out of your way, which is about all that power is good for. And then get to your third Darkling, the Kamikaze. Guess what it does? This is where you meet Anthony Estacado, your great-great-grandfather. He tells you some vague shit about he's the one who brought the darkness into your family, and how it needs a host to live, so it sent you here while it repairs the damage you did to yourself. He also tells you that there are a pair of guns, which you can use to control the darkness up on a hill that nobody's been able to get through. And this is a big area that can get hard to find your way around in because everything looks the same. But if you go too far out, the game just puts you back right on the path, so it's not that big of a deal. The darkness guns are guns that use darkness energy instead of ammo. The right one acts like a submachine gun, and the left one acts like a shotgun. And they can have their uses, but ultimately they're not very good. You have to be in total darkness for them to really be effective, and more often than not, your normal guns are better anyway. Head back to Anthony, who tells you about a cannon you can use to open up the castle where the darkness lives, so fight your way through the catacombs and you'll get the final Darkling, the Light Killer. It zaps lights to destroy them, when it feels like it. Sometimes it just sits there and does nothing. It's more useful than not, but a lot of times you're still going to be shooting lights out yourself. After you're through the catacombs, you'll come to a big train. Fight your way to the controls, activate them, and then you'll be brought back to New York City in modern day by the darkness who fixed your broken head ball. It's one of my favorite lines in the game.
I fixed your broken head ball. You have passed my test. No more dreaming.
Jimmy the Grape tells you should go see your Aunt Sarah, who tells you where Eddie Schroet lives, and that arrangements were made for you to get into his building. Fight your way through his apartment and end up on the roof, where you'll be ambushed by another attack chopper Schroet uses to get away. Jump down this fire escape to avoid the chopper, then head back to the subway and call Butcher. He'll tell you that Eddie Schroet has a briefcase of some importance that he's keeping in an old Turkish bathhouse that you can get to through some abandoned subway tunnels. Grab the key from this out-of-order bathroom stall and head through the abandoned tunnels. Down here, you'll meet some homeless people who hate Schroet just as much as you do, and you'll also run into this weird guy who I think he's supposed to be a Satan worshiper or something, I'm not really sure. Kill him so you can move forward, and this is where you'll get your last darkness power, the black hole, which is exactly what it sounds like. This is basically your I win button in just about any fight, but it does have a limited range, and it drains all of your darkness energy, which leaves you vulnerable for a little while. Fight through the Turkish baths, grab the briefcase, which I couldn't get footage of because somewhere along the way my recording stopped and I didn't notice it until it was too late. Head back and you'll find the old subway tunnels swarming with cops now. They've also set up floodlights. It's not a huge deal, you can use the black hole and a light killer Darkling to get through easy enough, but it's the attention to detail here. The bad guys are learning, they know you can only use your power in the darkness, and they're at least attempting to counteract it. It's a nice touch that you'll see a lot from here on out. Back to the subway where you got the key, Butcher will put a bomb in the briefcase. Eddie pages you, so call him and set up a meeting to return the briefcase. The meeting is at the Trinity Church, near where you first got your darkness powers. Head there, fight through some cops, then watch this long cutscene that ends in your darkness arm detonating the bomb, killing you, Schroet, and his lackeys.
You know, Estacado, I never did like Paulie Franchetti. If I didn't have to kill you, I'd buy you a drink for what?
No, stupid puppet.
And that was the second time I died.
Back in hell inside the train, you find that the cannon you were supposed to fire isn't loaded. So you and Anthony have to fight your way to an old German bunker so you can get ammo for it. This takes you through a turret section, and normally I don't mind turret sections too much because, hey, you get to use a really big gun. But this one's a little annoying. It's not difficult to get through, but everything is constantly moving, so some things are a lot harder to hit than I'd like. After you crash through the bunker, you're attacked by this big thing. Tell me this isn't a shambler from Quake. Shoot it in the mouth until it dies, listen to Anthony's dying speech, keep going through the bunker, find the ammo you need, take it back to the train, and fire the cannon. Head into the castle down to this room, activate all these extraction machines, and the darkness will take on a humanoid form that looks like a demonic Jackie. You'd think this would be a boss fight, and it kind of is. The darkness attacks you with every power it has, even the black hole, but fighting it is completely useless. Every time you hit it, you'll see Jenny who tells you can't fight it, and eventually you'll just die. What you have to do is put your guns away and walk up to it and accept it back into you. Somehow this means you can control the darkness now, I'm not really sure, and I'm pretty sure I've been controlling it this whole time. And I'm not sure why I had to get rid of the darkness just to take it back in. This part's confusing, and I don't think it was well thought out at all. You wake up back in New York again, and you're told to go back to your Aunt Sarah's. Butcher's there, and he tells you about a boat carrying a shipment for Paulie down at Pier 19. You have to go to Grinder's Lane, use the radio to give the boat the all clear so it can come in, then go down to Pier 19, get onto the boat, kill the captain. Once you do that, there'll be some mob guys waiting for you outside, so take them out and head back to Aunt Sarah's, who pages you and tells you her house is under attack. Back at Aunt Sarah's, you, Sarah, the Grape, and some other guys all repel a few waves of Paulie's goons, and this can kinda drag on. You can't use your darkness powers here, which means you're made of wet tissue paper the whole time. And once you knock a wave down to one or two guys, they can kind of be a pain to pin down. Sarah just stands at this window and shoots this door regardless of whether or not anyone's there. And it took me a while to find this one guy hiding behind this car because he wasn't attacking, he was just crouching back and forth, saying dumb things. But once you get through them all, Jimmy the Grape says the mob wants you to take over after all this is said and done, and Butcher tells you that Paulie is hiding out at a lighthouse and mansion that he had renovated. Go back to Pier 19 to take a boat over to the mansion, and the final assault can begin. Darkness powers are a little spotty here because the sun is about to come up, but the farther up the path you go, the darker it gets. Kind of ominous. Once you get to the mansion, there are a few sections where you get to fight through enemies, but a lot of it is taken care of through cutscenes, which is kind of disappointing. It's supposed to show you that the darkness is taking control, but really all it does is have you stand back and watch while stuff is done for you. You can make your way up to the lighthouse, though, and kill Paulie, which is easier than it should be. And once you deliver the final shot, the darkness says it owns you, and the game ends.
I hope you rot in hell forever.
And that was the end of the line.
There's a little scene where Jackie and Jenny get to meet one last time before the credits roll, and that's nice. I haven't read much of the comic book this game is based on, but I've read enough to know that there are some differences. But ultimately, the game itself is still pretty good. Aiming isn't great, but that's just the nature of putting a first-person shooter on a console. Facial animations are also almost non-existent, which I just find off-putting anytime anybody talks, which is a lot. The story did feel off at times, like it didn't explain enough, but sometimes I would rather it explain not enough than explain too much. The fact that this game never got a PC port is really heartbreaking, and if there's any game I would definitely want to get the night dive treatment, this is it. The sequel did get a PC port, and I'm sure I'll talk about that game eventually, but for now, the only way to play this one is either an Xbox 360 or a PS3, and we'll just have to hope that 2K let Night Dive take a crack at it. Anyway, let me know what you thought about The Darkness down in the comments. Let me know if there's a game you want me to cover. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it. Either way, as Civvy says, the algorithm requires engagement. Click on one of these things. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.